Coming up on Mount News this morning, people around the world remain on alert as Russia's invasion of Ukraine sees another night. And a food project in our region celebrates 1 year of impacting its community in a positive way.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning to you. It is Monday and it's just before 5 o'clock here. I'm Dakota Makris. Thanks so much for joining us. And let's take it over to Brandon for a look at our forecast. Brandon, this morning, I've been so used to the warmer temperatures that, well, I just didn't start my car this morning. And guess who was cold on his way to work?
You regretted it, didn't you?
Absolutely, I did.
Did you have some frost on that windshield this morning?
I did not, no.
You didn't?
No.
Well, you were lucky because I had to get the scraper out of the back of my car this morning and get the windshield scraped off. I was too impatient to wait. But we got started this morning, and it's the last day of February, if you can believe that. It's going to be a beautiful day out there. Enjoy it. Let's take a look at our Buffalo Mountain camera first. All quiet here in Perry County and across much of the region. We're looking at temperatures already into the 20s in the southern counties and 30s up into the northern counties there. Moorhead and let's see here. Actually, Jackson and Pikeville are warm spots this morning at 35 apiece. 20 and Monticello is our cool spot this morning. So again, just bundle up. I'll get my worries out here in a second. I don't have enough of this yet. A little extra coffee this morning because it's Monday. But of course, those areas that are a little cooler, you'll need a lot of coffee just to stay warm this morning as you head out the door. I'll have the rest of that forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you so much. Well, Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered his nuclear forces to prepare for action. Now, at the same time, Russia said it was ready to enter peace talks with Ukraine's president. Well, the president of Ukraine agreed, but vowed not to give up an inch of Ukraine's territory. Putin's order raises new fears about how the crisis in Ukraine could unfold as the United Nations agreed to hold an emergency session on the invasion today.
The European Union will finance the purchase and delivery of weapons and other equipment to a country that is under attack.
Well, tens of thousands of Ukrainians are trying to escape, crowding onto trains, driving towards safe borders, only to wait in long lines or walking miles through the night. Tensions are also high in Russia. In protests across the country, Russians chanted no to war, and police in riot gear made arrests. Ukrainians helped themselves to donations on Saturday after locals gave them blankets, food, and water in the Polish border town. Now, after shopping in a nearby supermarket, locals left the donations for anyone who needed them and set up tables with hot coffee while children handed out sweets. Refugees were seen sifting through bags of clothes, blankets, and toys and other supplies left by the side of a road, and some were seen tearfully reuniting with their loved ones on Saturday evening. The Jewish Federation of the Bluegrass is looking to make sure Jews living in Ukraine have the supplies they need during this time. Allie Blake spoke with the group to see how they plan to help.
It's estimated around 200,000 Jews living in Ukraine have suffered from economic and political instability in the country. Today, the Jewish Federation of the Bluegrass is calling on others to help out to those in need.
The Jewish Federation wants to make sure the people are able to get the supplies they need and have the ability to contact their families if necessary. They also know that at some point these families that have fled will return home and want to make sure they have the necessary bounds to recover.
So Jewish federations across the country and worldwide have banded together to stake claim in raising $20 million. And that has to not just come from the Federation coffers, but it will come from people, really wonderful humans that care about people all across the world that will reach out together, hold hands, and raise the funds needed to make sure that we can adequately support those in the Ukraine, those that have fled to the neighboring countries, and so on.
The Jewish Federation of the Bluegrass is calling on those to donate funds to Ukraine and to keep the people in your thoughts and prayers. In Lexington, Allie Blake, WKYT.
Well, the push to help others still recovering from the aftermath of the deadly December tornadoes in western Kentucky is still going strong. 15-year-old Mackenzie Lewis began a church water challenge all the way from Columbus, Ohio, to help tornado victims put their lives back together. With help from her mother and churches in her hometown, Mackenzie was able to collect hundreds of cases of water to hand out to those who need it most.
I looked at the news, and the news tells you about everything pretty much. And I seen that they had a crazy tornado, and I seen all these people rushing to help everybody. And my thing is, I don't like to do it right when it happens, because that's when everybody's giving stuff.
Well, Mackenzie says she wants those in Bowling Green to know that even months after the devastation, there are still people not only in Kentucky but out of state that still care. Well, in Hazel Green, the food project in Wolfe County began after group members saw how many people were in need following the devastating floods that took place last year. And yesterday, the organization celebrated its one-year anniversary. The Hazel Green Food Project serves those in Wolfe and surrounding counties. It distributes food to as many as 1,000 to 1,600 people during each food giveaway. The project secretary, Ashley Likens, says it's rewarding to impact the lives of people in this way.
It's just great because we know that we're helping the ones that really need it. And, you know, our lines, and if you drive by on any given day that we have a food giveaway, you'll see that there is a need here in the community, and it just makes us overjoyed with being able to help anybody.
Well, those with the Hazel Green Food Project say they have big plans for the project's future. A church in Letcher County held its first service yesterday after recovering from a car crash just last week. Members of Neon Reformed Presbyterian Church gathered, feeling blessed. Nobody was hurt when the car hit the church building. Pastor Jay Bennett says the driver fell asleep at the wheel. Now, no charges were pressed. He says they plan to renovate the church's storefront, including the possibility of a protective barrier.
We're definitely going to pursue that avenue as well, and think about putting up some kind of maybe concrete or steel barrier to keep cars from careening into the building.
Well, Bennett says he is thankful for the quick action of his congregation. He says they were able to patch up the church in just a few hours. Well, thank you so much for getting your Monday morning started with us here on Mountain News This Morning. When we come back, some areas down in Australia see some devastating flooding after heavy rain leads to high water.
Thankfully, none of that here today. The forecast for the last day of the month of February is looking pretty nice. I'll have it for you in about 3 minutes.